I'm Walter Kraft, Vice President for Communications. We have President Susan Martin with us for her first of 3 conversations with the President for the remainder of this semester. There'll be another one on February 8th and another one on March 16th. And this is an open forum. Please feel free to come forward with any questions. We will have a microphone for you, so wait till the microphone gets to you before you ask your question. And we're open to any and all questions, thoughts, ideas, suggestions, and those kinds of things that you might have. Several members of the university's leadership team are here also to answer any specific questions that you may have about certain areas. So with that, I'm going to turn the microphone over to President Martin for some introductory comments, and then it'll be open forum question and answer period.
Well, Happy New Year, everyone. Off to a great start in 2011. As you know, we've been investing in the campus. We've been investing in facilities, $195 million, and we're delighted that the new addition, 85,000 square feet of the Science Complex, is open for winter semester. Classes and faculty are moving in to the new addition, and that means that we have closed the 1st and 2nd floor of Mark Jefferson. Look for directions online how to get into the 3rd, 4th, and 5th floor of Mark Jefferson. We're beginning our renovation of that structure, a $90 million project. Pray Herald project is underway and estimated to be on track, on budget, and completed and reopened for fall of 2011, so we're looking forward to that. We have invested in our budget in increasing financial aid. We know students need more assistance, so the board has adopted a significant increase in financial aid. Not only do our students need more help, but we also have more students on campus. So that's another reason that we need to invest and increase our financial aid budget, which is now at $33.7 million. We have been investing also not just in facilities and financial aid, but also in our faculty. We have 46 new faculty on campus this year, and we have 30 open searches for new faculty to join us in the upcoming fall. Our Invest Inspire capital campaign is off to a great start. Through the close of the year, we actually have achieved a goal of almost $40 million. We're just under $40 million with a $50 million goal, so we're very excited and expect that we will complete that campaign early and exceed our $50 million goal. In line with the affordability efforts that we've been making with 000 increase in tuition, room, and board this year, which has helped many of you, I think, continue to stay in college and work toward your degree, we know that the biggest challenge in 2011 will be working with our state leadership, which is new. We have a new governor, Governor Rick Snyder, who held an education forum when I chaired here in this building in the Student Center in the fall in early October. We've worked with him and other leaders to provide some thoughts on education and hope that he will be able to invest in education once they are able to stabilize the state budget. Our immediate concern, though, is the new normal, which is really that we're going to have to do more with less dollars from the state. They're facing right now a $1.8 billion structural deficit that was alleviated by some stimulus money, which has now been used. So we had a cut of less than 3% in our budget last year in the state appropriation, which is sad to say that we actually find that good news, that it was a cut of less than 3%. We're not sure what the new governor will be doing to balance the budget, but we hope it won't be on the back of higher education, that we will not have a significant cut. And in fact, Governor Snyder and his new budget director, John Nixon, will be meeting with the public university presidents tomorrow in Lansing. So I'll be meeting with the governor and then also having lunch with his new budget director. He will be delivering a State of the State on January 19th, which is 2 to 3 weeks earlier than governors have done so in the past. So we're hoping that we will hear very soon what his 2-year budget forecasts for higher education. In the new normal, though, we know that Michigan's economic woes are related directly to the number of college degrees in this state. Michigan per capita income, this is an amazing statistic, has dropped in the past 40 years from 12th out of the 50 states to 40th. So we've dropped from being the per capita income that was 12th in the nation 40 years ago to 40th. And part of that relates to our need to have more students complete their degree at Eastern and other universities. The United States itself was first in the world. We're now 12th in the world with adults that have college degrees. We've dropped from first in the world to 12th. In 2008, Michigan had 35.6% of its adults that had college degrees. The Lumina Foundation in November announced an ambitious goal to get the United States back to first in the world, and that goal is to have 60% of adults have college degrees by the year 2025, whether that be an associate's degree or a four-year degree, to have a college degree of some type. For Michigan, what that means to achieve that goal, to go from 35% in 2008 to 60% in 2025, we would need to have 1,322,000 more degrees. That's over 9,700 more adults in Michigan getting a degree every year. Michigan right now, we're 34th out of the 50 states in adults with degrees, and we're 49th in terms of unemployed. Statistics that we hope to improve, and Eastern is eager to do its part. And we know that in the short run, we may not get more support from the state. In fact, we may see a short-term cut. But we hope that we will be able to educate more students at Eastern. And we've seen our growth by 7%. We're now at 23,500 students. And in fact, our applications for next fall are up 34% for incoming freshmen. Not just in quantity, but in quality. The number of applications we have this year for an incoming freshman is at 9,195 applications compared to 6,800 last year. It's a significant increase. And most of that increase is in students at 3.0 GPA and above. So we're seeing that we are an attractive, affordable education where faculty are accessible, and that's in line with our continuing to figure out within our budget how we can invest in our academic facilities and continue to hire new faculty. The budget reality is Michigan has a $1.8 billion deficit. Governor Snyder has said he wants to restructure the business tax, and it's estimated that that will cost $1 billion. Keep in mind the total state budget is only $7.7 billion right now. So that's a significant hole to fill. Our winter enrollment is up 2.2%. And our student success in terms of our retention, students are staying with us, are increased by 5% this fall from 72 to 77%. That's the highest it's been since 1992. In terms of activities on campus, we always have wonderful activities, and you can look at EMU today to see the things going on. We have a diversity forum on Friday that we're looking forward to. And in fact, we have a men's basketball game tonight. It's their second game in the MAC. They won at Toledo on Saturday evening. The women are 2-0 in the MAC, and they play tomorrow night at 7 o'clock against our rival Central, my alma mater. So try to come to very exciting games that we've been seeing lately. And Eagle Nation Station is open over here to give you some more information about that. Next week is Martin Luther King Week. We have a lot of activities this weekend coming up related to that event, which culminates in the luncheon that we have Tricia Rose as a keynote speaker on Monday. We're going to have an all-campus picnic, even though it's cold outside and snowy. On January 20th, the basketball teams will be serving hot dogs, so be sure to stop by here for that. So that's just a little overview of what's going on and the challenges we're going to face. Our biggest challenge will be working to stretch our budget, as we have been, to do more with less and educate more students to help Michigan get to that goal of 60% adults and to regain our position with our per capita income being among the highest of all the states rather than being 40th in the country. So we're open for questions. A lot of the leadership team are here in the audience, and if I don't know the answer, they will. So.
Hello, nice to meet you, President Martin. Oh, it's on. Hello? Oh. Okay. Hello, nice to meet you, President Martin.
Nice to meet you.
My name is Jessica Jackson. I'm an incoming freshman here, and I had a question since you mentioned about financial aid, and I have realized a lot of things since I've been here with this transition, and I find it kind of odd that maybe, it's hard to explain, with financial aid, I feel like the more important things are paid for first and the important things are paid for last. Like throughout this whole year, I've had no books for college at all because I've gotten a $26 refund check. And the only way I was told to pay off my winter semester was to get a private loan. And I don't know anybody with that much money, I guess. And so my question is, what would you say to students who want to go here and do excel here, who come from low-income families who can't afford, you know, college or books for that matter?
Well, I think that I would hope that you've met with a financial aid counselor recently to describe your current situation. One of the things that we're trying to do under the Invest Inspire Capital campaign is to get some of our alumni and supporters of the campus to provide money for need-based aid. Often people donate a scholarship in the area that they graduate. If they graduate in psychology, they'll give a scholarship for a psychology student. But we're trying to encourage more people to make donations to just a strictly open scholarship fund that we can help support students, because we know a lot of students throughout the year, they get here and then they start to run out of money. So we're looking at emergency funds and types of things that we can get from our alumni to donate as part of the Invest Inspire campaign. But I would encourage you to touch base again with financial aid, and I know Bernice Linke is here. She can probably, over there, if you talk to her, maybe she can arrange for you to see someone to see if we can help.
Hi, my name is Paige Shelton. I'm a transfer student here. I transferred in the spring from Tennessee State University, and I kind of have a financial aid question as well. My question is, why isn't there some type of program or some type of seminar that fully explains the financial aid process? Coming in as a freshman at my previous school, I didn't know anything about completion rate. I didn't know anything about, you know, interest rate on loans. So how can we make that better and have freshmen know more about this so that the same cycle won't keep repeating itself?
Actually, there was a good article in the New York Times this weekend about a university that was doing Financial 101, not just about financial aid, but also how to manage your money, how not to get into credit card debt as a new college student when you're able to apply for that. And I think that's a good idea. We do information sessions now and then for people to learn how to apply for financial aid, but we'll certainly take your idea and see if we can do more and be more proactive.
Hi, my name is Alex, and I am a senior here at Eastern Michigan. And my question to you would be, what exactly are you going to do about the advising system here, or better yet, the lack of advising system here? I'm a senior, and ever since freshman year, I have not had an advisor. I have not known who to talk to, and it's really put me in a terrible predicament right now in order to graduate. I've been shuffled from here to there, given answers that are not definite. So my question is, what are you going to do to better this advising system here to help the students?
Well, we've actually combined career services and academic advising into one unit, and we've added some staff. They're located in McKinney now, so we've tried to improve this. We've also bought a piece of software called Red Lantern, which we're going to implement, which will enable students to go online, because we know you like to do that, and be able to better self-assess and self-advise and see exactly where you are and track to the degree. So those are two things that we've done recently.
Don't you think that it would be better for a student to be able to go up to a faculty member face-to-face and meet with them and get definite answers rather than go online?
Absolutely, and we hope that you should be able to do that in the various disciplines. I'm not sure what your situation was, but we'd be glad to talk to you separately about it to find out what happened. Yeah.
I've talked to numerous students who this has happened to, and I think it's time that something needs to be done about this.
Okay.
You mentioned a lot about just the need for increased higher education. EMU runs an amazing program called Bright Futures, and that increases just the educational after-school programs in primary and secondary schools. I was wondering, with your thoughts, you gave a good long talk about the need for increased higher education, not just here in Ypsilanti and Ann Arbor, but across the U.S. Are there any plans to further expand upon things like the Bright Futures program here at Eastern?
We have a large variety of programs that we reach out into the community and actually have a Carnegie classification, but we actively encourage and support our faculty and our staff to seek grants to enable us to do things like Bright Futures, Early College Alliance, all kinds of things that we do to help bridge into the community and help people see the benefit of education. So, yes.
There was one place where you would say this is where you can go to help facilitate stuff like that to students. Do you have a place where we can make a forward motion towards making that happen?
Well, the Diversity and Community Involvement office in this building is the key place to get links to the types of things that you might be interested in participating in, depending on your interests. So that's the key first point that you should go to get some advice.
Cool. Thank you.
Hi, Dr. Martin. I have a question regarding commencement. If I'm set to graduate after this semester, is it possible I can walk in the fall commencement? Because my family won't be able to make graduation to see me walk in the winter. So is there any chance I can graduate now but walk in the fall?
That's a question I don't know the answer to, but we can have Bernice Linke. She's here. If you talk to her, she'll make sure that you get an answer.
All right, thank you.
Hi, President Martin. My name's Paul. I'm a resident in Munson Hall, and as you know, we share the parking structure with the commuters. With all the new students coming onto campus and our popular 000, I find that parking is very difficult lately. And my question to you is there any future plans to build new structures or open lots to make it easier for people to park? Because if I were to leave the parking lot anytime between 8 a.m. and 1 p.m., a spot probably couldn't be found until 5. It's been very difficult.
Yeah, we've actually built a staircase to the north lot to encourage people to better use the north lot, and we're seeing more utilization of that. We do have some peak times where everything is almost full, where it's difficult to get a spot. And one of the things that we can do is try to spread our class schedule a little bit to enable that flow. We're also looking at improvement in the corner of Oakwood and Washtenaw to increase traffic flow. So it's not just a parking problem, it's also a congestion problem. So we're looking not just at parking, but congestion. Do we plan to build a new parking structure? No, it costs about $20,000 per spot. So if we continue to have this type, to build a parking structure. So we have other academic facilities that need work before we would do a parking structure. What can we do to relieve it? Work on traffic flow, probably adding another turn lane at Oakwood and Washtenaw. And then possibly, if we continue to have these pressures, we could provide a shuttle service to Rynearson and maybe have free parking over there.
Hi there. I have a question about the community college bill that is kind of dead right now up in Lansing. I'm just wondering if you think it's going to be reintroduced, or I know the President's Council is unanimously against it, but what you think we could do at Eastern to raise more awareness about it, and how that would negatively affect students here at Eastern. Thanks.
It will definitely be reintroduced. The bill died in the last session. If a bill has not been passed, it dies at the end of session. It will definitely be reintroduced this year, and it will have some strong support. So we're very concerned about it. We love our community college partners, and we have over 100 agreements with community colleges where students can take between 80 and 90 credits toward their degree at their community college and finish at Eastern. So we value those partnerships. The real concern is exactly what I was talking about earlier in terms of funding. It essentially would open the door for community college to become four-year universities. And frankly, in the past 10 years, Michigan has been 50th among the 50 states in terms of its support of higher education. And I don't see how we can afford more four-year universities. We need to support the ones we have.
Hi. Speaking of community college, I come from WCC. My name is Yvette, and in the medical program there, we had health insurance, medical insurance offered through another company, but through the WCC. And I was wondering, I've been researching graduate assistantships here, and what holds me back in following through with that is that I've been told through my resources that you don't have health insurance offered or medical insurance offered. And I was wondering if that's true and if there's anything that could be done about that in the future.
I believe that we have a student policy that can be purchased. Bernice Linke could get you more information from Ellen Gold about that. Yeah, yeah.
And I had a second question also.
Yes.
As a struggling student, the books can be pretty expensive, and I was wondering if you've ever thought of like a recycle initiative where students could take their used books and some sort of website where we could say, hey, I have these books, and kind of a trade thing.
We haven't considered initiating that in the administration, but often student organizations can do that. In Antonia, that might be an idea for student leaders to tackle that at some point. We have instituted a rent a book in the bookstore to help reduce the costs. And there's a widespread belief that the e-books is going to have some movement forward in college campuses to help reduce the cost of textbooks. Other questions?
The past 2 years, student government has been sponsoring the Club Halley Late Night Breakfast and the extended hours. And while the university administration has contributed, I think this is something that the students have proven is a value to the university. And I was wondering if you could speak on the chances or how long it might take, the potential of the university taking on that initiative so it's not such a burden on student government. And
This is one of many great ideas that we'd like to support, and we've been supporting it with one-time transfers. And it's a hope that we can do what's called base budget, in other words, a permanent budget for that. But we have a lot of competing things right now that we're trying to balance, and so it's certainly something that's on the list for consideration as we build next year's budget for the board's consideration. So. Other questions? It's back.
Can you explain the communities idea that may or may not be implemented in the first year center or residence halls? And can you comment on gender neutral housing or specifically an LGBT themed community that is being talked about right now?
I don't have all the specifics on that, but Bernice, you want to talk about the living learning, the themes in the living centers? You've been more involved in that than I have.
Hi. Phoebe, we have 4 theme communities right now, and the theme communities, the acronym is LIFE. L is for leadership, I for international, F fitness and wellness, and E is for career exploration. We haven't defined the theme communities for next year yet, but that certainly would be one that we could consider. I know that we're looking at one for reacting to the past, for instance, that there may be a theme community for that group, but we're still in the planning stages, so we can bring that forward. Okay?
How's it going? My name is Jamar Scott. I'm from the student government, and this year alone, $40,000 is going to club sports, and most of it is for the facilities of them to use that they pay for. And I was wondering if it was anything that we could do as far as infrastructure to make them function better as a whole.
Club sports, yeah. Bernice Linke and I had lunch with some of representatives of club sports, and we're concerned about this and actually taking a look at the issue, how to provide adequate both staff support and financial support for club sports to be able to be an important part of the campus and to have the proper facilities and support that they need. So we are working on that. Other questions?
Diversity, I feel like, is something that's Eastern should be very proud of. We have a very diverse student body. But I feel like there could be strides that could be made, both in professional staff and as well as faculty. And I realize that the provost does have an awesome thing that's coming up this Friday with the diversity forum, but I was wondering, like, why is it that diversity is an issue coming from the academic realm as opposed to from the student affairs realm? Because I feel like it is something that's important within student affairs. It is something that's important to the rest of the university, and I feel like a proactive move in the area of diversity and a real strategic plan is something that should come from, you know, the executive, and it should come from the top as opposed from academics.
Well, diversity has always been an important part of Eastern's mission and one of the values that we embrace, and it's reflected in the student body. And you're absolutely right. We need better representation that reflects our student body and our employees and also in our faculty. Part of our challenge is that there are fewer to recruit among faculty, and it depends on the discipline. But Provost Kay is very committed to this and actually has it as one of the 4 principles in his academic planning. And James Gallagher and Sharon Abrahams lead diversity and affirmative action, and is certainly working to promote more awareness on campus and see what we can do to do better recruitment in our pools of applicants.
Hi.
Hello.
I wanted to ask you about the lighting on campus, particularly right behind the football stadium. There's a trail called Spurline. There is no lighting there. So, I mean, I walk because I work over at the EMU Foundation, so I have to walk over there. It's completely dark, and there's like not even a safety beacon. So if something were to happen at night, I mean, no one would be able to.
Right behind you, I'm going to ask John Donegan to come up. We've added lighting to go over to the athletic complex, but I'm not sure exactly where he's talking about that he's concerned about.
I believe you're referring to the former railroad track area that the county put a border-to-border trail in. Is that what you're referring to there? It goes from Cornell up to Hewitt? Yeah. Yeah, that trail is, while the property is owned by the university, the trail itself is maintained by the Washtenaw Parks and Recreation Commission. So that trail has never been designed to be used at night, or actually, it's one of the last trails we actually plow. But I do want to say that this summer we put in 65 plus light fixtures between West Campus and East Campus along the softball track there, and or the softball field. So we do have a lit path that's open 24/7 that's maintained from the West Campus to the East Campus. We actually discourage people to use the border trail that's maintained by the Washtenaw Parks Commission in the evening or during bad weather.
Another option for you, though, is to, there are 2 routes, and that's behind University House where I live, that little house where I live. That border-to-border trail, so at night, instead, if you just walk up a little bit, you can either walk through the driveway by my house, or there's a lit sidewalk between Walgreens and the house, University House, and that has lights across it that will get you across the same route from Hewitt over to the neighborhood where there's lights. So there are options to go through, and you know, I'll wave at you from my window if I'm working there. Other questions? Well, thank you everyone for the questions. Any more questions? And if you have a question you want to answer that you didn't really want to ask with a microphone, okay, come on up afterwards.
Hi. Last semester I had a few classes downtown in the business college, and I found that getting down there through the shuttle bus is probably one of the most complicated and nerve-wracking things. The one bus that, you know, Eastern does have running back and forth from main campus to downtown campus is 99.9% of the time late. And I'm just wondering if there's any future plans for better, you know, bus, you know, systems, because I think with a better bus system, then it would take care of a lot of parking issues as well that obviously are a lot of people's concerns.
Yeah, Lee Graydon is here somewhere, I think. Yeah, over here. I'd appreciate if you could talk to Lee afterwards about the problems you're having with the bus, because he's the main liaison with the AATA. In fact, I did an advertisement for them this morning. We're very supportive of that, and we want to get feedback from students on what we can do to better improve the timing of the bus. One thing that will help the bus maintain being on time is getting rid of some of this congestion I was talking about earlier on Oakwood. That sometimes causes the bus to get behind, and we're working on getting an additional turn lane through a grant that would help that route that you're talking about maintain its time schedule. But I'd appreciate if you'd share with Lee what your issues are so that we can address it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Over there in the red tie with a gold belt. Certainly, man. Oh, yes, you want to do it after?
Any other questions? You have a question? No? Okay. Well, have a great semester.